Well, before you watch this video, I'll just warn you that it does end in a bit of a failure. But we've always said we'll show you the failures as well as the successes. And there are quite a few good lessons to be learned in this, I think. So bearing that in mind, let's jump in. Well, hello again everyone. I'm back with another project for the metal flake gun, the Flaking 500. Well, what I've got here is a black piece of steel. It's a steel plate that I've drilled in each corner, and I'm going to give it a coat with the pink metal flake that I've got here in a packet. It's not Flaking flake, it's flake I got off eBay from Hemway. So we'll see how that goes in the Flaking gun. But the first thing to do is to give this a bit of a wipe with a tack rag, and then give it a tack coat of the lacquer, and then a heavy coat, and then we'll go in with the Flaking. So actually, first thing's going to be set up the Flaking, isn't it? So I'll take my air pressure down to somewhere around about 10 psi.
Check the mic and make sure.
Perfect.
Sound right, boys.
And now I'm going to set up the Flaking adapter on my airbrush. Really simple to do. Just click it on. And just going to put that to one side. I have to be a little bit careful now because I can't use my airbrush holder with the Flaking on, so yeah, just going to have to watch that. I'm now going to open my pack of flake. And good stuff. It's got a nice resealable packet. So I'm going to take the glass jar off the Flaking thing. And pour some flake in it, I guess. Very carefully. Already got some on my workpiece there. Never mind, we'll get that off with the tack rag. Now I don't want to get lacquer over anything really, so I'll get all this stuff out of the way. Keep this fairly carefully over here. Right, so yeah, I'm going to fire up the extract. I'm going to wear my respirator, and yeah, light tack coat, heavy coat, then flake, and then we'll leave that for well, it's the standard 10 minutes I think, and then we'll give it another coat or couple of coats of clear to seal it in. Let's give that a shot.
It sound right, boys.
Well, it's about 24 hours later, and this has hardened off nicely. I think the next thing to do is to smooth it off with the 600 grit paper like we did to the last piece. Well, I've got my text printed out that I want on that plate. Now I've done it in a font that's nice and fat because I want that pink to show through. So the next thing to do is to transfer that via the carbon paper to some of that masking film. Right, next thing then is to cut out these letters with the craft knife.
It's down white boy.
Right, well it's the next day, and I think the thing to do now is yeah, the thing to do now is to put on the shield for the name in that hyper mask stuff. Right, now I want to add one of these roses, so I'm going to use a piece of acetate and cut out a stencil for this rose shape. Well, I've done the usual thing and I've traced round the overall shape of the rose. I'm now going to cut that out with the old craft knife.
It sound right, boys.
Keep this bit safe because we'll need that later. Right, let's get this positioned nicely on with the magnets. Right, now I'm just going to ghost that in quite faintly in white. Righto, now I'm just going to cut out the whole flower and then I'm going to trim off this green area for the stalk. Righto, now I'm going to pop this in again with some magnets and then I can put the green in for the stalk. Now I'm just going to stick these leaf bits back in. That's going to be quite a challenge, isn't it? Let's see what we can do on that. Got that little bit to put in there as well. Now, essentially now we're going to go up the rows, adding layers of darkness. So I'm just going to cut inwards really where those darker lines are, if that makes any sense. Right, now it's time to start taping out a design on that. Right, well, you remember we kept the bit that we cut out of the acetate. We can use that back on there as a shield again. Right, now we're going to spray in some black around these borders. Going to shade in around the letters and shade in around the rows with some black shadow. Now I'm going to attempt to do a sort of fish scale finish in the centre, and for that I need a scalloped edge, and I don't have a ready-made stencil or anything, so I'm going to try and make one using the lid of my airbrush. So let's start that, see how we get on. Right, I've actually got some of this candy Ttxela. This is a water-based candy. So we're going to try some of that, and I'm just going to tape off the sections that I don't want to get the orange on. When we get to the flower, we're going to have to be careful, but yeah, basically we're just going to try the old scallop fish scale sort of pattern. time to remove all that shielding and the tape. Wish me luck. Well, I'm pleased with the overall effect, but there's a problem. Look at this, look. We had a whole load of everything came up with the tape. That's the bare steel underneath, so I'm going to have to see if I can repair that somehow. Oh dear. Well, it's the next morning. I've been thinking how to repair this, but I think whatever I do, it's going to involve quite a lot of handling of this. So I'm going to give this a coat of the 4030 clear, just to protect it whilst I do whatever I do to try and fix that. Well, hello again. We're back on this room plate name thing. And it's a few weeks later. I've been considering how to repair this damage. Now, apologies for the background noise. We're in the kitchen and the washing machine is going, but you can see here where the paint has flaked away. And I think what's happened there is that maybe the preparation of the steel wasn't good. Or that perhaps there's a drop of grease or something on there that's caused I think that's right back to the steel there almost. So anyway, I think the best thing to do is to sand that off, and I'm beginning to sand that with some of this 120 grit aluminium oxide paper, and I'll use that dry. I'm just going to try and get back to a nice solid bit of adhesion, which I don't think it'll be very far, to be honest, because this doesn't look like flaking away any further. And I'm going to try not to stray too much into this black stripe. Really want to keep it quite minimal. Right, well that's the extent pretty much of the bit that wasn't adhering properly to the steel. I don't know what had happened there. It must have just been some local sort of contamination or something. So everything beyond there is nice and firmly stuck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask off, and I'm going to mask off along the line of this black stripe, and I just want to cover this with some primer. I'm going to do this from the aerosol can as I usually do, but I'm going to mask quite tightly because I only want to catch the steel. I'm only going to give it a single sort of lightish coat of primer, so I don't mind any sharp edges where I mask quite closely to it, I don't think. Right, so now I'm just going to give that a light whiz with my aerosol primer. Right then, let's unmask this and see what it looks like. Oh no! And we've also had a loss of adhesion there as well. Look. Do you know what I think? I think this is going to be scrapped, this piece, and I'm going to start it again, and yeah, I think unfortunately this this steel wasn't prepared well enough and the primer's just let go. That is the bare steel you can see on the side. I think I need to remove all the mill scale off the steel, I think, rather than just giving it a quick rub down. Maybe I need to power sand it off. Yes folks, I think this is going to be scrapped, this piece, unfortunately. But we will redo it, and maybe we'll redo it a little bit better perhaps. Well, unfortunately folks, as you might have spotted in that time lapse, when I removed the masking tape, it has taken yet more of the surface paint off. And unfortunately it's strayed into this flower design. And I think this is just going to be really difficult to repair to any sense. And I don't know how far that problem is going to extend underneath. There's obviously some surface contamination. I didn't prepare well enough the base steel, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand this all off. Don't worry, Mia will get her door plate, but I'm going to sand this all off, probably both sides, probably the back as well. Just start afresh from a plain sheet of steel again and redo this design. But I'm going to put this video out just to show you really the amount of work that could be wasted by not having a good preparation right of the surface. You might well say, well, could you repair that? And I probably could actually. Probably could get some sort of repair in there, but I just don't know how many other problems there are going further into the design. I wouldn't want it all to start flaking off later. So yeah, this is a bit of a negative first airbrushing video for 2021, but a valuable lesson to learn perhaps. I'm gonna take this plate and redo it for Mia, but this design, this paintwork is unfortunately going to be scrapped. Well, that's all for now. If you enjoyed it, press like, subscribe if you want to see some more, and ring the bell to be notified when we upload something new.